Why I don't eat Ezekiel's bread. Hey everyone, I'm Matthew Vanderels, one of the community pastors at Founded in Truth Fellowship. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and click the little bell to be notified whenever we post new content or go live every single week with our weekly church services. Also, feel free to comment below if you enjoy this video or if you have any questions or if you just want to make a comment. That's what it's there for. If you feel compelled to click the dislike button on this video, oh, please don't do that. In this Fitbit, we are going to look at Christianity's #1 go-to for gluten-filled ambrosial indulgence of the most set-apart appetites. No, we're not talking about Chick-fil-A and the Lord's Chicken. We're talking about Ezekiel's Bread. Ezekiel's Bread is one of the most well-known marketing food products in your grocery store that has specifically been geared towards Christians. We go into the grocery store, we look around, and poof, here in the frozen section, there's this loaf with a Bible verse on it. Yep, Ezekiel's Bread is sold in the frozen section. It's like a popsicle that you don't have to feel guilty about. So there's this Bible verse right here at the bottom, right in the front of it. So you know exactly where this loaf of bread comes from. It's from the Bible. They even paraphrase the verse, and it appears this is a verse in the Bible that contains some divinely inspired recipe for food. And this company has taken this divinely inspired recipe, made bread, and now I can buy this bread. Wow, you may think. As a Bible believer that loves God, I should probably buy this bread right now. And believers do. I sure did. That is, until I actually read the Bible. Now, here's the verse placed on the front of this product's labeling. Ezekiel 4:9. Take wheat and barley, beans and lentils, millet and spelt, put them in a storage jar and use them to make bread for yourself. You are to eat it during the 390 days you lie on your side. Weigh out 20 shekels of food to eat each day and eat it at set times. Also, measure out 1/6 of hin of water and drink it at set times. Eat the food as you would a loaf of barley bread. Oh, Matt, that doesn't sound too bad to me. God tells Ezekiel how to make some bread. God gave us this recipe. Yes, God did indeed give Ezekiel a recipe. And when we don't take into account the context of the narrative and what is actually going on in this chapter, this bread may actually sound a bit appetizing. But let's keep reading. Continuing in verse 12 and 13. Eat the food as you would a loaf of barley bread. Bake it in the sight of the people, using human excrement for fuel. The Lord said, in this way the people of Israel will eat defiled food among the nations where I will drive them. Ezekiel, make this bread. Awesome. And cook it with a human turd. And eat it before the people of Jerusalem to symbolize the climax of God's wrath on them. Yeah, that Ezekiel bread you bought is not giving you that sense of holiness any longer, huh? This is the biblical version of Minnie's pie. Now, in the narrative, Ezekiel objects. Good for him. So God graciously allows him to use a cow patty instead of a human one. All the same, this demonstrates something. Though it is funny, it's something that can also be damaging to a Christian believer in their faith. Making and viewing the Bible and using the Bible as something as it simply is not. The Bible is an amazing collection of letters and poetry and narrative, historical accounts, apocalyptic and wisdom literature. But too many times we want to view the Bible as simply a divine checklist that fell out of heaven. And if we can just check off enough boxes in our daily life, we somehow get to heaven. And that's not at all what the Bible actually says. The Bible is meant to transform us through its contents. It's meant to instill a type of wisdom for us to go out into the world and live out with discernment the kingdom of God. See, Ezekiel 4:9 is a great example of what happens when we are far too anxious to check off a box and disregard the context of what the Bible is actually saying in its contents of building an ever-growing narrative that we know ultimately reveals Jesus. Imagine if you viewed the entire Bible like you did Ezekiel 4:9, glancing at a verse, not taking into account the background and the context and the culture and the scope of the entire story. How damaging could that be? Maybe you already know. How many of us have seen someone abuse a Bible verse, either intentionally or ignorantly, into something that was about as edifying as buying Ezekiel's bread from the store to make yourself holy? The Bible is an amazing thing if we dare to look at what it really is. how it really came to be and how we're supposed to actually read it and let it transform us. Now, I'm not saying that Ezekiel bread isn't a healthy food option. I doubt that the manufacturer of this food product baked it in the oven with the same contents as Ezekiel 4 mandated. So these ingredients look packed with fiber and protein and all kinds of good stuff. If you actually like the taste of Ezekiel bread, keep it on. If you're just buying it because it makes you feel holy, well, its intent in the Bible was to call out the inhabitants of Jerusalem for not understanding that only growing closer to God can make us holy. So, in summary, Ezekiel's bread is made from the biblical recipe in Ezekiel 4:9, but the recipe was not meant to be some healthy addition to a fad diet. It was intended to be cooked with human excrement, poop, as a symbol of God's coming wrath to the disobedient inhabitants of Judah. The bread, when consumed, represented God's wrath. Guys, if you enjoyed this message, go ahead, give us a like on this video. If you didn't, feel free to hit that dislike button as well. Please let us know what you thought in the comment section below. We love the feedback, and every comment that's posted gets read. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell to be notified whenever new uploads are on the channel or whenever we go live with our weekly live stream from our fellowship every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, guys, stay fit, stay founded in truth. We'll see you next time.